Welcome back, baseball fans. As we continue our Legends in the Making playthrough, we are turning to the winter of 1957, getting ready for the offseason. And as we do so, it is a time to reflect on what went wrong with the last season and what we can do to try to build for the future. Because for the first time since that inaugural year of 1921, our club found itself adrift below the 500 mark at 76 and 78. It was a season that wasn't catastrophic, as you can see by our offense and defensive totals were not the worst, but we just slowly unraveled. But meanwhile, the Dodgers took home the World Series for the third time. And that one, though, is going to be a bittersweet one because that is also where we will notice that the Dodgers are no longer a part of Brooklyn, but they are moving to Los Angeles, which was a real life heartbreak for many people. And that is still something that probably lingers there today. And now we also, before we move into the player draft, I do want to point out that we have had two titans of the game retire. And they are Bob Feller and Josh Gibson. Bob Feller, Rapid Robert. He was a titan among the game, but he played for the wrong team. The Phillies, he led the league in losses 3 times. He led the league in games started 3 times. He led in innings pitched 4 times. Walks a lot. Strikeouts a lot. Ks to 9 a lot. So he ends up with 249 wins, but 256 losses and 22 saves. He had 2,695 strikeouts, which were 100 better than his career total in real life. Thankfully for Robert Feller there, Bob Feller, he was able to finally gain glory in that last season for Brooklyn, helping them win their World Series title as he finally had some bats and some defense to back him up. And then the Titan above Titans, Josh Gibson. And this is where it is just going to be something that's going to echo in dugouts for the future. Generations are going to be looking up to him. He is the new Babe Ruth in this playthrough. You can see his dominance in the power numbers and where he ends up. 2,022 runs, 3,621 hits, 511 doubles, 126 triples, 769 home runs, 2,578 RBI, over 1,000 walks, struck out quite a bit as well. 57 stolen bases, not the best base runner for the catcher, but he hit 290 and he slugged 536. 118 WAR, and we look at his accolades. He won an MVP. He won 12 times Silver Slugger. He won 2 playoff series MVPs. He did win the championship twice and a 24-time All-Star selection, spending his entire career with the New York Giants. It's an amazing, amazing career that we're going to have a hard time finding anybody to stand up to that in those numbers. Now, before we go on to the first year player draft, we're going to take a look at the awards and those that are bringing home the hardware. We will see, starting with our top glovesmen, the ones who were snapping everything up and saving runs left and right. Mike Garcia gets it for the pitchers for the Boston Red Sox. He has been just fantastic there, the big bear himself. 7 gold gloves now. Ken O'Day at catcher, Bob Boyd for the Tigers at first, Billy Gardner for the A's, Willie Jones, third baseman, Buster Clarkson at short, Charlie Maxwell for the Yankees, which he was one of ours that we traded away and let go. But it brought us Bonnie Sorrell, who's done well for us also. Jim King for the Orioles and Gino Cimoli for the Yankees. In the NL, we had Bob Turley. Our man, Roy Campanella, is back at it again, picking up his 13th Gold Glove Award. And these 6 Silver Sluggers, considering he was up against Josh Gibson all these years, that is quite an achievement. But I think his time is running out at 41. Vic Power for the Giants at first, Gil McDougald at second, Leon Kelman for the Reds. Jackie Robinson gets another one at short. Richie Ashburn, Jim Pearsall, and Al Kaline, who's probably going to have quite a few because I know he was quite the fielder in real life, and he should do quite the same here, and he's already hit 300 in 3 years, 42 doubles to lead the league this year. He's going to be an amazing player for those Dodgers as they move out to L.A. AL reliever of the year goes to Marv Grissom, unanimously beating out Ken Lehman. 31 saves, which close to a record setting. 1.55 ERA as well. His strikeout to walk ratio is much better. In the NL, it goes to Frank Barnes, who gets 12 votes over Ike DeLock, who got 1, and ballplayer Gonzalez for us picking up 1. But Barnes only had 13 saves, but he had 9 wins and a 2.96 ERA. That would have been a hard race to call. DeLock was 13-10 with 26 saves, but his ERA was not as strong. In the AL, Silver Sluggers are going to go to Harvey Haddix again. That should be his second one. Yogi Berra picking up another one. Bill Skowron, Pat Patterson. These are familiar names. Eddie Matthews, Buster Clarkson. Ted Williams getting another one at the age of 38, 39. He is putting up numbers that are going to challenge Gibson potentially if he can stay on this run, depending on when he retires. Gibson retired at 45, just like Greenberg, but Feller did retire at 38 when he did in real life. So it'll be interesting to see, will Williams keep playing or not? He's already hit that 3,200 hits. He's going after Cobb if he stays at this level. Also, then we have Duke Snyder picking up another one and Jackie Jensen in right field. In the NL, we have Larry Jansen, Josh Gibson walking away with his last one, Stan Musial picking up one at first base, Charlie Neal, Ken Boyer for us. Again, this kid's been great. We just need to build around him. Ernie Banks, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Al Kaline. It's a Hall of Famers list right here. Rookie of the Year goes to Jim Landis, who got 3 first-place votes, while second place got 6 and third place got 7. But Landis had enough second-place votes, I guess, when it came down to it. So with 32 RBI and 8 home runs and 265 average, the center fielder picks it up, beating out the other center fielder and then the starting pitcher, Joe J. This was a thin year for AL rookies. In the NL, Wes Covington takes it unanimously for the Braves. No wonder there. The left fielder hits 31 home runs, 94 RBI, 296 average. This kid has arrived on the scene. Then we have the Cy Young winner going to Harvey Haddix, picking up his second one. First one in 5 years. But he did so with a 219 strikeouts, 2.82 ERA, and 21 wins. While Ned Garver, again, fewer first-place votes than second and third. Bill White, Tom Sturdivant, and Frank Sullivan all took some. But Ned Garver is going to lead the way there. 14-10, only 90 strikeouts and 2.94 ERA. Interesting. These guys, the Dodgers were not striking people out outside of Bob Turley. AL MVP award goes to Ted Williams, beating out Eddie Matthews. And then in the NL, we have Willie Mays beating out Mickey Mantle, who stole 1 vote. But Mays hit 344, 119 RBIs, 38 home runs. Sorry, Mickey, you just were amazing as well. Just not quite as amazing, just barely behind him in all those categories. Ernie Banks and Kim Boyer finishing 4th for us, so that's good news. And Stan Musial as well, because we did not get a single vote. No points in the Cy Young race, which means we need to build in the first-year player draft. Now, we get to pick 9th. We are in the first half for the first time in a very long time. But when we look at the draft pool, there's not a lot of amazing players. The 2 that I have my eye on are Juan Marichal and Gaylord Perry. We're going to hope for one of them fall to us. I don't think they will, but we'll find out. So with that being said, let's start the draft. And let's see who the White Sox are going to take. The White Sox are going to take Billy Sweet Swinging Billy from Wiz Williams. That is a nice long nickname. But Billy Williams had a great career. The Red Sox are going to take Frank Howard. Gaylord Perry goes to the Phillies. They skipped over Bob Veal. Bob Veal goes to the Giants. It's getting close to us. Oh, but Juan Marichal goes to the Pirates. The Pirates are now loaded with talent there, with Frank Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Sandy Koufax, and Juan Marichal. And I think they have Willie McCovey coming up in their farm system. The Yankees are going to take Jim O'Toole. The A's are going to take Ron Fairley. And then the Orioles take Jim Brewer. So that means we are left with Ray Sadecki. Do we take Ray Sadecki? I mean, he was a Cardinal. He's just, ugh. I mean, the big stars are gone. So we need to think about what we need. And what we need is probably a catcher. Let's take a look at it. I mean, Severs and Monte Irvin's going to be close to retiring. We got Albie Pearson, hopefully. Rocky Colavito is there. I mean, we are thin everywhere. We got Mazeroski. The infield looks solid. When we check out our minor leagues and who's coming through, we do have Jim Gentile, who's going to be up there first at base. Beta Henson is ready to go probably this year. Cleet Boyer in the infield will be fine. Jim Catt for pitcher. But after that, we're really thin on everything. So let's see. Do we go with Ray Sadecki or do we want the catcher Tom Haller? I mean, he wasn't not the best. I guess we will try to build up our pitching staff. So we take him ninth, Ray Sadecki. And then the Cubs are going to take Pete Ward. The Redlegs take Steve Hamilton. Dennis Minke for the Tigers. Tom Tresh for the Guardians. Mac the Knife Jones goes to the Senators, who have not moved to Minnesota yet. Ron Peranoski goes to the Dodgers. Tom Haller to the Braves. Al McBean to the Senators. The Dodgers get another one in Danny Cater. Manny Mota to the Tigers. And then the Guardians are going to take Pagliaroni. So that is our first round. We will jump ahead to the opening of the 1958 season. Springtime hits again. April 1958, we are opening the season up against the Cubs, looking for a little redemption here. We've had 3 less than stellar seasons, especially the last one. But the good news is we were able to draft higher up that time. Now, our lineup, Bonnie Sorrell is hurt. He got hurt in an undisclosed accident. So he'll be out for a few more weeks. So we have Phil Rizzuto starting at short. At the age of 40, Kim Boyer is going to be backing him up at third base. Then we got Stan Musial at first, Rocky Colavito in right field, Roy Severs in left, Monte Irvin in center, Bill Mazeroski at second base, and Roy Campanella at catcher. Early Wynn's going to be leading off the rotation at 38 years old. Warren Spahn behind him at 36. Bob Friend at 27. Hopefully he'll be bouncing up this season. And then Hoyt Wilhelm's going to move to the rotation this year because he's got the stamina to do so. And we brought in Hank Geyer. We were able to make a trade where we sent Jay Ritchie over for Hank Geyer. He's going to help our bullpen out, I believe, and help make us stronger. Robin Roberts is in the bullpen, along with Ron Klein. Robin Roberts, this is in the years where he kind of struggled as a starter. Now, if he has the ability, we will put him right back up there. And ball player Gonzalez is, again, still stellar back there, so we're going to hope he can do his job. He might move to the closer role at some point. We will find out as the season unfolds. Now, when we look at the Hall of Fame, we had Luke Appling on his first year getting 90% of the vote. Lots of hits, 3,200 hits. 1,100 RBIs, 1,600 runs. He had 299 for his career. That was a few weaker years at the end. 372 was his best, where he led the league in 1940. 87 WAR, lots of awards and accolades. 8-time All-Star, 1 World Series champion, 5 Silver Sluggers, 5 Gold Gloves, and an MVP to go along with it. Spud Chandler, I'm glad he made it. He was always up there near the top, but couldn't quite ever make enough to win the Cy Youngs. But he was pitcher of the year, reliever of the year, 2 Gold Gloves, a championship, 6-time All-Stars. He finished with 237 wins, 3.23 ERA, 1,800 strikeouts, 69 WAR. He was always right there when it came to being near the top. He was always in the top 10. It felt like many categories, and that's why his gray ink is so high, but he just couldn't get up there and actually lead it. So I'm glad to see him get in there. And then Red Ruffing on his 9th ballot, finally getting in with his 262 wins, along with his 1,800 strikeouts, 3.84 ERA, 57 WAR. He was a solid player for the Reds and the Cubs during the 20s and 30s here. So it was good to see him. I've been voting for him. But Ernie Lombardi almost got in. Quincy Troop almost got in. Hal Trotsky, though, then there's a huge gap. And Jumbo Brown, the guy who was always such a great reliever, starting off slow. But we also see Cole Papa Bell dropped immensely, and Thornton Lee dropped immensely. He was in the 50% last year. So that's going to be interesting to see if those guys can get in. That's what brings us then to the opening game, and we will see how the 1958 season plays out as we are trying to bounce back and get ourselves up to end the decade strong. It has been a rough season for the St. Louis Cardinals this year. We offensively, fourth in runs scored, second in batting average is great, but our batting war is not that great. We are not running the bases well at all. Our runs against, fifth out of eighth. Remember, our starters ERA is worst in the league. Our defensive efficiency is not there. We're not committing a lot of errors, which is great, but we're not striking them out, which is not okay because Monte Irvin, although he's great at the plate, he's our best center fielder, and defensively, he's not there for center field. So we're struggling. Campanella's having a great season again. We haven't been able to. I put Barnhill back into the rotation, but he's not going as deep. Early Win was massively struggling this season. So things are not going well. And when we take a look at the standings, we'll see how well they're not going for us, as we are in seventh place, 9.5 games back behind the Dodgers. And one thing I also did not mention or notice is the Giants are now in San Francisco as well. So we have both West Coast teams there. Now, we are not far behind getting back up to 500 and these guys, but the way we're losing, we might be down in here, which is fine actually, because then we can get somebody better who can help rebuild this team, because we are struggling. And we look at the league leaders. Andy Carey has a 338 average. Eddie Matthews leading the way with 22 home runs. Yogi Berra and Eddie Matthews with 60 RBI apiece. Tony Taylor, 11 stolen bases. Charlie Maxwell, what could have been 966 OPS. Ted Williams is up there. He's hitting 300 again. Eddie Matthews is leading the way in batter war. Gene Woodling had a 19-game hitting streak. ERA right now, 2.12, goes to Dixie Howe. Dick Donovan, Connie Johnson, and Camilo Pascual all have 11 wins. Lefty Bo leading the way with 135 strikeouts. Herb Score is still doing well, but his ERA is taking a hit, and this is where we weren't sure. 1958, 57, this is when he had his injury, so what will happen in these next couple years, and what will he emerge as? I hope he does well and has that career, but his control is just so bad. Saves goes to Hal Newhouser again. He is finding that resurgence late in his career. And then Seth Moorhead with 3.8 pitcher WAR. In the NL, we have Hank Aaron hitting 399, followed by Willie Mays at 334. Aaron is also leading the way with 26 home runs. Roy Sievers for us has 21 and hitting 323. Hank Aaron's also got 67 RBI, so he is pushing for that Triple Crown, leading the Dodgers on their way. Felipe Alou has 16 stolen bases. OPS goes to Hank Aaron, but we have Sievers up there in third. That is a massive OPS as well. Batter war, no surprise, Hank Aaron. Jackie Robinson's up there again. He just continues to impress. Gus Triandos had a 19-game hitting streak in the NL. Antonio Ruiz, followed by Milt Pappas and Roberto Vargas. None of these showed up on my radar, but they're all doing great for their teams. Milt Pappas has 11 wins. Drysdale, that'd be a great one if we could get, but last we probably won't. Leonardo Medina, our former player for the Cubs, is doing well with 10 wins. He's have a solid career. Sam Jones, 123 strikeouts. We did have a shot at Tom Sturdivant. Didn't take it. Maybe I should have. Harry Eisenstadt with 11 saves. Hank Aguirre, our new addition, has 10, so he is doing his part there, closing out games when he can, but he also has 5 losses. And Sam Jones with a 3.3 pitcher WAR. When we look at the All-Star teams for the 1958 season, we will see probably not too many of ours this year. In the AL, we have Dick Donovan, Dixie Howe, Larry Jackson. Seth Moorhead gets the start here. Hal Newhouser as well. Yogi Berra. Orlando Cepeda is up there for Boston as a rookie, hitting 330 with 14 home runs. Roy Cullenbine gets the start. Bobby Doerr in second. Eddie Matthews, Lou Boudreau, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio is still there doing his thing. How many hits does he have now? 4,034 hits, hitting exactly 300, 524 RBIs. Man, our home runs. He is doing his thing. Duke Snider is back again. I mean, Ted Williams and Duke Snider. It's like what we had at times. Minnie Minoso. In the NL, Sandy Koufax is emerging. 3.76 ERA, 4-3, 81 strikeouts. He's going to that control's going to solidify, and then he's going to be lights out. We have nobody there. Oh, ball player Gonzalez does get noted as a starter as far as a reliever goes. And then Frank Sullivan is for the starting pitchers. Roy Campanella is on there, but Gus Triandos beats him out, even though Campanella's having a fantastic season. Stan Musial gets the start. Jackie Robinson, Ken Boyer gets a start. So we have some individual players. Look at the Cubs here, though. Al Rosen, Ernie Banks, and Joe Adcock. Roy Seaver's getting on there, though. Hank Aaron, no surprise. Mickey Mantle, no surprise. Willie Mays and Al Kaline. That's a tough outfield right there. Roy Seaver's well done on getting in that. So that's where we're at in the last half. And we look at the prospects, we have none of the top prospects. While Pittsburgh, they have Juan Marichal, but then they also have Roberto Clemente, and they have Frank Robinson, and they have Sandy Koufax, Milt Pappas. I mean, and they're still in last place. I don't understand how that's happening. Their defense is so bad. Billy Martin needs to get after them and yell at them a lot. Fire them up. But that's where we're going as we finish out the 1958 season, which at this point, let's just be bad and maybe the Pirates can pass us. And the season second half actually turned out better than we expected, and I'm kind of sad about it. We ended up finishing in third. Look at the offensive numbers. Everything but the base running and stolen bases, we just crushed the ball in the second half. We got a little bit better at starters ERA, and our defense got a little bit better. And one reason we did move Robin Roberts up there is for early win and for Dave Barnhill, and that actually worked out fairly well for us. He had a solid second half in the rotation, so the rotation settled down. Everybody started hitting the ball well. We got as high as second in 5.5 games behind the Dodgers before falling back again, and unfortunately, we won the last few games, and it saw us beat out the Cubs and the Pirates. We were hoping to finish down here a little bit, but there was all kinds of back and forth going on this season. It ended up with the Washington Senators winning by 7 games, almost posting 100 wins, going up against the Los Angeles Dodgers, their first time out west. And the Dodgers made it back, trying to win their second in a row. They won in 1957. This was their 7th trip. It was the 7th trip of the Senators as well. But now the Senators are 3 of 7, thanks to winning behind Minnie Minoso, picking up the World Series MVP. They won 4 games to 2. They took game 1, lost the next 2. It looked like the Dodgers were going to do it. But then game 4, 5, and 6, all close games, 5-2, 6-5, and 5-4. Gil Hodges helping lead the way. And Ted Williams is going to get another World Series title for himself. So good job there. Now, when we look at the standings at the end and who finished where, Andy Carey did hold on to the batting title at 324. Eddie Matthews with 40 home runs. Yet again, for the 4th time in his career, he's already up to 263 at the age of 26. Watch out, Josh Gibson. We might have some company. Eddie Matthews also had the RBI title with 106. Notice Williams had 319. He did hit his 500th home run this season. Tony Taylor with 20 stolen bases. Ted Williams led in OPS. Kurt Flood getting the batter WAR as a rookie, 20 years old. Gene Woodling had that 19-game hitting streak hold up. 267. Dixie Howe did hold on to the ERA title. Dick Donovan, Connie Johnson, and Camilo Pascual all again tied with 19 wins. Lefty Bo with 230 strikeouts. Herb Score had 177. His ERA came down a bit as well, so maybe there's hope for him despite those control problems. Hal Newhouser, I think, setting the record there. 36 saves for Washington. He is having one heck of a renaissance late in his career as a reliever. He should get reliever of the year. He's already won a Cy Young and several Gold Gloves. So he led the league in wins. Now he's leading the league in saves. He's led the league in losses as well, and ERA and strikeouts. He's done it all. So that is interesting. How will he finish out his career? Right now, he's still doing great. Then we've got pitcher WAR going to Seth Moorhead. He held on at 6.7. In the NL, Hank Aaron led with 376 by a mile over Musial and Mays. Hank Aaron also led with 45 home runs over Ernie Banks and Joe Adcock. And then Hank Aaron as well, taking home the Triple Crown with 127 RBI, beating out Mays and Adcock. Stolen bases, 30 stolen bases for Felipe Alou. Mickey Mantle had 24. So did Alou, only 12 home runs. Mickey Mantle, though, 2020 club. Don Blazingham, guy we traded away. Maybe that was the speed we needed. Hank Aaron led in OPS. Roy Sievers, though, for us. 101 RBIs, 37 home runs, 304 average. He had a fantastic season for us. Hank Aaron with a 12-3 WAR. We haven't seen numbers like that in quite a while. Al Kaline and Gus Triandos with 19-game hitting streaks. Billy Hoft with a 2.54 ERA for San Francisco, beating out barely Ned Garver. Stu Miller with 21 wins. Don Drysdale had 19. Leonardo Medina, again, a guy we traded. We didn't know what he was going to be like being a Negro Leaguer. What would he do? And he has had a solid, he's done well for the Cubs. His ERA's been up and down, but we'll see how he finishes out. He still has several years probably in the tank left with him. He's 36, so maybe not. Sam Jones, 207 strikeouts. Hank Geyer for us, the trade worked, 22 saves, tied for the lead. And then Medina with a 7.0 ERA, but Bob Friend there with a 6.2. So Bob Friend is starting to hopefully emerge. Robin Roberts getting it straightened out. Warren Spahn will hopefully as well as we head into the offseason. But we still have some work to do. Not as much as I thought, except for the fact that Bonnie Sorrell is 38. Stan Musial is 37. Monte Irvin is 39. Campanella is 42. Spahn is 37. We've got to start getting some young talent moving up. We don't have a lot of that because we've been drafting at the bottom, but Beta Pinson is going to be a solid one for us. We need him to step up. Mazeroski's going to be there. Frank Thomas is ready to take over when needed. So we've got some potential, but the cupboard's getting a little bare when it comes to the farm system. Hopefully we can make some moves in the offseason to build ourselves strong. So let's advance to the draft. Okay, I am excited going into this offseason now and the first-year player draft. Even though we finished higher than wanted to, we did pull off a trade already before we look at the awards. First off, you'll see in the draft pool this time we have Yastrzemski and Ron Santo and Boog Powell. Some big names are out there at the top of this. Mac Jones apparently did not sign with the Senators last year, so he's back in there as well. We did have Early Wynn retired. He actually retired a little early, retired after 1958 here. Well, he actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more seasons in him in reality. So he actually is somebody who retired sooner. Apparently he didn't like his catastrophe of a last season. He does have a shot at the Hall of Fame. He's got some good metrics there. 2-time Cy Young, 3-time Gold Glove, 1 Silver Slugger. The guy's got potential. I hope he makes it. He's our only big retirement. He had 178 wins, 3.35 ERA, but we did trade for Roberto Clemente. Somehow the Pirates, and this is why they're going to stay bad, they wouldn't give us Koufax, but we did get Clemente by trading away Jim Gentile, who's been wanted by many teams. So I thought I'd throw him in there, and then Nelson Chittum to get Roberto Clemente, because I guess Clemente's not living up to their standards at the moment with his 250 average. What I'm hoping, we don't need him to be powerful, but he's going to add the defense that we need this offseason. So that's going to be great news for us. Now, when we look at the awards, before we jump into the draft, let's go to the top Gold Gloves of the American League. Diomedes Olivo is back up there at 39 years old, picking up his first Gold Glove after winning the Cy Young in 1950. This guy has had he didn't become a thing until the 60s in Major League Baseball, but he has had a good run of a career. He's going to have a shot at the Hall of Fame by the time all's said and done. So good for him. For the Orioles, Ken O'Day at catcher, Roy Cullenbine again, Darryl Spencer, Bobby Brown, Buster Clarkson, Enos Slaughter, Kurt Flood. As a rookie, he's going to be amazing. It looks like Gino Cimoli as well. In the NL, we have Sandy Koufax picking up the Gold Glove at pitcher. Campanella wins yet another one, who he also had a solid offensive year, hitting 300 again, 17 home runs. Things are looking good for the 42-year-old. Steve Bilko, Jackie Robinson picking up his 4th one and lots of all-star appearances as well. He is going to be a surefire Hall of Famer. Well, he should be a surefire Hall of Famer, but he got started a little later in his career at 26. It's going to be interesting. He hasn't led the league in as many things as I thought. Hopefully he makes it. George Kell, Roy McMillan, Richie Ashburn, Bubba Phillips, and Al Kaline. Of course, we would expect him. The top AL reliever goes to Hal Newhouser, adding to his collection. Now he has a Cy Young from 1946 and now a 1958 reliever of the year. Congratulations to Newhouser and his 36 saves. In the NL, we're going to have Tuck Farrell at 16, again unanimous with his 22 saves, beating out our guy. We thought a Geyer could get up there, but he did not. Silver Sluggers are going to go to Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra, Roy Cullenbine, Bobby Doerr, Eddie Matthews with a 40 home run season again. Roy Cullenbine with 35. Is that his high? Look, he just retired as well after his best year. Offensive, well, no, one of his best years. And he won quite a bit. So he's going to be another one on the border for Hall of Fame, though. All those awards and all-star selections. I don't think defense is added in enough for the Hall of Fame on this, but in real life potentially as well. Johnny Logan, Ted Williams, who's still going, Joe DiMaggio, who's still going, and then Minnie Minoso. In the NL, we have Billy Huft, Gus Triandos, Joe Cunningham, lots of new names coming up, Vic Power, Ken Boyer winning again for third base for us, Ernie Banks for the Cubs, 41 home runs, Roy Sievers, left fielder. It's probably his only year he's going to be playing for us, like starting regularly. Hank Aaron and Rocky Colavito. Although his average wasn't much this year, he was pounding the ball and his slugging percentage was still there. Just needs to hopefully make better contact this season. In the Rookie of the Year is going to go to Orlando Cepeda, beating out Dick Stewart and Kurt Flood. So him and Flood pretty close, but he does have more runs created. He's got the higher OPS, so it makes sense. In the NL, unanimously, Norm Seaburn with his 289 average for San Francisco, 18 home runs, 56 RBI, scored 77 runs. Only 2 stolen bases for the man, though. A 5.2 WAR. In the Cy Young race, the AL is going to go to Billy Odell of the Kansas City A's, 170. He almost identical to his previous year, only 4 more wins and 50 more innings gets him the Cy Young. In the NL, Ned Garver with 1 vote going to his teammate Stu Miller, but Ned Garver there with 2.56 ERA, not a strikeout guy at all, but he's won 2 Cy Youngs. That is so fascinating to me, that this guy's doing it, and he's doing way better than he did in reality at this time of his career. So it'll be interesting. Does he keep going or does he fade off? Hey, Hoyt Wilhelm, Warren Spahn. We actually have some pictures showing up again, which is good news. MVP goes to Ted Williams, beating out Eddie Matthews 14-2. Joe DiMaggio getting third. Gil Hodges is showing up there. Andy Carey, the batting champ as well. Ted Williams, though, this is his. I'm not even going to count all those. Let's just look. 8 times MVP. 20-time All-Star selection. Wow. In the NL, Hank Aaron, Triple Crown winner, beating out Mays and Mantle. No surprise there. Seaver's getting up there quite a bit, so good news for him. Kim Boyer also doing well. Musial just getting 3 points. He's on the downside of his career, but he's going to still get those hits. He's still going to get those doubles. And he's apparently still going to get some triples for us. So he's having a fine career. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer when all is said and done. Shouldn't have a problem with these metrics right there. Wow, what a career he's had. So let's go to the first-year player draft, and let's see what's on the agenda. Now, we are picking 10th this time because we did slightly too well, unfortunately. But there are a few that are out there, so we're going to see what we can get. I want to get, where is he at? Phil Niekro. If he falls to us, we're going for Phil Niekro. That's why I have him marked there. We have a shot at him because there's a lot of guys in front of him. We'll see how that goes. He's the one I feel like we could realistically get. So going first in the 1958 draft, the Chicago White Sox are going to take Yaz Sojastrimski instead of being a Red Sox. is going to be a White Sox this time, and he's going to be amazing for them. Couldn't ask for somebody better. Phillies are going to take Ron Santo. The Orioles are taking Boog Powell. The Yankees take Dick the Monster Raddatz. So that was number 4. Pick 5 is going to go to the Red Sox and Duke Sims. 6 is going to Dean Chance for the Giants. I don't like that Necro's up here now. Milwaukee's going to take Tim McCarver, not going to St. Louis. That's too bad. And number 8, Jim Maloney goes to the Pirates. Number 9, this is what we're looking at. Kansas City is going to take Dennis Minke, which means, I don't care who they tell me, we are not taking Ken Harrelson. We are taking Phil Niekro. He's going to be in our rotation and in our bullpen everywhere for a very long time. With the 11th pick, the Cubs are going to take Ken Harrelson. Cleveland's going to take Joe Horlin. Mac Jones is being passed by. Oh, as I say that, Detroit's going to take him. Cincinnati's going to take Mickey Lolich. Washington's taking Bill Froggy Hands. That's a great one. Chuck Hinton's going to the Dodgers. Cesar Pepito Tovar to the Tigers. Al the Bull Ferrara goes to the Senators. Ramon Hernandez then goes to the White Sox. Oh, we're in the second round. So we're going to jump ahead to see how the rest of the offseason plays out, see if any new moves are made, and if we can mount a challenge in 1959. Okay, it's that exciting day again. We are 1959's opening day, and we are going to open up against the San Francisco Giants. I like the lineup that we have, but before we get there, we have to look at the Hall of Fame results. And our man, Satchel Paige, inducted into the Hall of Fame on his first ballot, 3-time ERA champ, 1-time wins, 3 times as strikeouts, a couple times as whip, Ks per 9 several times. He had a 110 WAR. He led it once. He ended up with 331 wins, 54 saves, 2,960 strikeouts, retired at 47 years old. He was a monster for us, and he was fantastic, but he had his strongest years even for Boston there. So he did win 3 Cy Youngs, 1 reliever of the year, rookie of the year, 5 championships, 12 All-Stars as well. Joining him is going to be Ray Brown on his first ballot, mainly for Philadelphia. He won 344 wins, 2,071 strikeouts, 314 losses as well, 3.51 ERA. The man got 8 All-Star selections, 3 championships, 2 Silver Sluggers, a Rookie of the Year as well. Couldn't get that Cy Young award, though. Larry French also on his first one for Philadelphia and Boston with 337 wins, 2,433 strikeouts, 120 WAR. He was a reliever of the year, 6-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger. Again, could never get that Cy Young. And then Quincy Troop for St. Louis, the Browns. Led the league in average once, amassed 1,800 hits, 150 home runs, 270 doubles. Couldn't break the 1,000 RBI or run mark. 52 WAR, though. He was a catcher, and he was Rookie of the Year, only got Gold Glove once, 2-time Silver Slugger, 7-time All-Star. These numbers are a little surprising that he got in on his second ballot. Ernie Lombardi, though, well, no, Lombardi didn't get the awards. Thornton Lee moved up again. Joe Gordon somehow did not get in. I think that's a travesty. I guess he didn't have the overall numbers to get him there, but he did not get in yet, but I think he should, especially with that MVP, Gold Gloves, Silver Sluggers, everything like that. So hopefully that will be right, and we will see him get in. Look at this. Joe Adcock's on the trade block. That is actually intriguing, depending on what they want for him, because he does have that left field, but we also have Roberto Clemente now, for some reason playing in left field, but that's okay. Rocky Colavito, defensively, we are set in the outfield now. And so we're going to have Veda Pinson starting for us, leading us off with that speed. We are encouraging him to steal bases. Ken Boyer at third, who's been fantastic so far. Stan Musial is going to bat third at first base. Rocky Colavito's cleanup. Clemente's fifth. Campanella is going to be following him. Bonnie Sorrell. And then Phil Rizzuto is still there. Keeping Mazeroski on the bench because Maz's defense is not quite where we need it to be. Hoyt Wilhelm is going to be number 1 in the rotation as of now. Bob Friend, Warren Spahn, and Robin Roberts. With some others, we did in the Rule 5 draft pick up Don Larson. He's had his best days already, potentially. This was his strong suit in reality. So we're picking him up whenever. That's probably going to be beyond that. But if he can serve us out of the bullpen, maybe some spot starts here and there, we will take that. We don't have any set closer at the moment. We're probably going to go with a Geyer again. But we might put Barnhill or Gonzalez there as well. We're going to kind of feel that one out as we go. Hopefully, when we pick back up at the All-Star break, we will be doing well and trying to push for that 18th World Series appearance. Let's find out. Well, here we are at the All-Star break, and the hope that sprung eternal in the spring has disappeared a bit. You will see we are nowhere near on this list. We have to scroll all the way down again, and we find ourselves again 9 games out of first. It's been back and forth. We've had some poor runs. We've had some good runs. What I do like is our defense is much better. Our pitching's a little bit better this season. Base running's better. Tied for first in runs against, but we can't score. We can hit. We just cannot score. So I've tried moving a few things around. It's not been working. I don't know where we'll end up. I hope it's not in this area. I hope we end up in this area. If we don't get first or push for it, I hope we finish in the bottom 3 so we can at least get a better draft pick. Because right now, the 3 in the American League are stinking it up. But look at these tight races. The Senators and the Tigers with the A's 1 behind, the Yankees 3 behind. The Cubs, Braves, and Dodgers are all right next to each other, all tied, with the Reds and the Phillies 2 and 3 games behind. So it is a tight race. It has me excited for whenever we expand and get more teams and eventually more divisions as well. So let's look at the leaders. Tito Francona, 371, followed by Gil Hodges in the batting average race. Orlando Cepeda with 24 home runs. Gil Hodges with 73 RBI. Tony Taylor with 12 stolen bases. Francona, Hodges, and Williams all over 1,000 on OPS. Ted Williams continues to amaze. Hodges and Francona tied at 3.9 on the WAR. Bill Skowron with 18-game hitting streak, but Cepeda is closing in on that, currently at 16. ERA right now is Camilo Pascual at 2.22. The wins are going to Camilo Pascual. He has quite a lead there, 15-12 over Don Newcomb. And he's got a 2-strikeout lead over Johnny Padres as well. Bob Rush is leading in saves with 13, and Pascual with a 4.7 pitcher WAR. Now, in the NL, we have Hank Aaron again leading in batting average by so much, 363 to 323. He's leading in home runs, 28, beating our guy Rocky Colavito by 2. And there's our old guy, Wally Post, is showing back up after 0 home runs last year. He's got 25 this year. Willie Mays has the RBIs at 99, though. Hank Aaron only has 62, so the Dodgers just aren't scoring enough runs, I guess. Vada Pinson, look at this. We have a stolen base leader right now again. 18 stolen bases. Aaron's leading in OPS, but Mantle's got him in WAR at 5.3. The best hitting streak is Wally Post with 20. ERA right now is going to Gentry Jessup at 2.58. Wins goes to Sam Jones with Hoyt Wilhelm 1 behind at 13. Drysdale's someone we've been trying to get, but it's not going to happen. Sam Jones at 125 strikeouts over Drysdale. Turk Lone at 14 saves, and Sam Jones at a 4.9 pitcher WAR. I want to check in on the Pirates. Frank Robinson's having a good year, but Covey is up there now. We did steal Clemente from him, but Koufax is in the rotation. Next year is going to be the year that he pops off and starts to, and then in the 60s is where he just becomes unhittable. If we can get him by 66, maybe he'll continue to pitch till he's 40 or 45 at that level. I don't know, but I'm trying every year. Here's our all-star teams showing up. Let's see if we see any familiar names. In the AL, we have Daly, Haddix, Miller, Newcomb, Odell. Camilo Pascual gets the start. Hal Newhouser as well with 11 saves. A .84 ERA gets it at closer. Yogi Berra again at catcher. Sherm Loller's been up there several times as well. Gil Hodges gets it at first. Pete Reynolds at second. He's been on the trade block all year as well. Eddie Matthews at third with only 9 home runs. He has come crashing down on the power numbers this time. Tony Kubek at short. Ted Williams at left. Tito Francona beating out Kurt Flood this year. And then we've got Jackie Jensen over Minnie Minoso. In the NL, our guy Bob Friend gets it at a 5-12 record. That's horrible. Leonardo Medina, he's making us kind of regret some of what we've done with trading him away to the Cubs. Warren Spahn and Hoyt Wilhelm also get there for us. Billy Haft, it's a 5.72 ERA that's been chosen as the starter. Campanella's on there again, but Gus Triandos beats him out, probably rightfully so. Campanella's been struggling. Joe Cunningham at first, Jackie Robinson at second, Ken Boyer at third. Harmon Killebrew is having a solid year as well. Ernie Banks at short, no surprise there. Joe Adcock at left, again on the trade block, but we didn't pull the trigger to get him. We would have had to give up a little too much. Mickey Mantle at center, beating out Willie Mays this year, barely. Look at these stat lines are fairly identical. Hank Aaron then in right field, beating out Wally Moon and Wally Post. It's the era of the Wallies, but neither one could topple Hammer and Hank. So that's where we're at. We're going to try to make some moves, try to make some changes, and see if we can pull together a pennant race, or hopefully just not be mediocre, but do really bad or really well in the second half. Maybe the bats will come alive again for us. We'll find out. Well, the season is over, and although we ended up getting a few more runs being scored, again, hitting really well, and the pitching and defense were better this season, we ended up not doing too well, even though Rocky Colavito had 42 home runs for us. Beta Pinson is our only 300 hitter. Everybody else disappointed. We couldn't get the runs driven in. Hoyt Wilhelm had a solid year. Bob Friend, he could not find a friend on the mound. He struggled. Our bullpen, though, did okay. But when we look at the standings, we will see we finished way down near the bottom, but we're still better than 3 here. So we only beat 5 teams. That means we could get hopefully somebody good coming along in this draft to help us try to, again, build up a young team that we can grow and use to build off of. But the Cubs at 87-67 came out of this bruising National League while the Tigers hit 100 wins. And when we went to the playoffs, the Tigers took it 4-2. This was one of the playoffs. The World Series had not seen the Tigers since 1945 when they last won it. They've won their 6th now out of 11. The Cubs, making their 7th trip to the World Series, first since 1946, have yet to win it in our simulation. So they could not get there. Bob Neiman was the MVP of the series, as, again, they were all close ones. Outside of the first two, first one, everything else was 2 runs or closer. 2-0, 6-4, 2-1, 3-2, and 4-3. So they were definitely close ones, and it finished off a fantastic season for those teams, just not for us. When we look at the leaders, Tito Francona did take home the batting title by quite a large margin, hitting .375. In 1959 in real life, he hit .363, so that's not that far off. Congratulations, Francona, on that one. Jackie Jensen with 37 home runs when he hit 28 that year in reality, so he had a much better season. Also, 111 RBIs, getting second. Gil Hodges finished first with 125 RBI. He should be winding down his career soon because he's going to be managing the Mets down the road whenever they arrive. Luis Aparicio got 24 stolen bases. Francona won the OPS race and the batter war and the hitting streak with 20 games. Camilo Pascual held on to the ERA at 2.76, as well as wins at 24 and strikeouts, taking home the pitching triple crown for the year. Congratulations, Camilo. He was on fire there. Hal Newhouser with 26 saves, again with a 1.3 ERA, even better than previous year. And Pascual and Bob Miller, both tying at 7.6 on the pitcher war. When we move to the NL, we'll see Hammer and Hank Aaron did it again, hitting .349. We had Beta Pinson in third, so this was a down year for averages all around. Aaron had 47 home runs, followed by the Mick, and then Rocky Colavito in third for us. Mays had 148 RBIs, though, and Wally Post putting Aaron in third for a second straight bid for the Triple Crown. But Beta Pinson, 34 stolen bases, but Mickey Mantle being a 30-30 player. Congratulations to him. Jackie Robinson showing back up in third, adding to his Hall of Fame resume, I hope. Aaron beat out Mantle for the OPS race. The batter war goes to Mickey Mantle at 10.5. Wally Post had the highest hitting streak. ERA goes to Bob Gibson. Oh boy, Bob Gibson has shown up, and it's just going to get Worse for us from here, as the Phillies are going to have an ace to lead on. Hoyt Wilhelm finished third in the title, though. Hoyt Wilhelm also got the wins with 24. He finished third in strikeouts, but Drysdale beat him out with 241. Turk Lone, 24 saves. And then Hoyt Wilhelm did get the pitcher award. Might he have a shot at a Cy Young to add to this? I don't know, but we will find out when we get into the next episode as we kick off the 1960s. We will wrap up this award season. We will see the first-year player draft, and we will do a recap of where we are so far after the 1950s as far as single-season records and career stats go. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we will catch you on the next episode.